The former verse contains an apology for the plain and familiar manner of the apostles' preaching, which was not with excellency of speech or of wisdom. He studied not to gratify their curiosity with rhetorical strains or philosophical niceties, for he says, I determined not to know anything among you save Jesus Christ and him crucified. I determined not to know. The meaning is not that he despised or contemned all other knowledge, but so far only as it might stand in competition with, or opposition to, the knowledge of Jesus Christ. As if he had said, It is my stated, settled judgment, not a hasty, inconsiderate censure, but the result of my most serious inquiries. After I have well weighed the case, viewed it exactly on every side, balanced all advantages and disadvantages, pondered all things that are fit to come into consideration about it, this is the issue and final determination, that all other knowledge, how profitable, how pleasant soever, is not worthy to be named in comparison with the knowledge of Jesus Christ. This, therefore, I resolve to make the scope and end of my ministry, and the end regulates the means. Such pedantic toys and airy notions as injudicious ears affect would rather obstruct than promote my grand design among you. Therefore, wholly waiving that way, I applied myself to a plain, popular, unaffected dialect, fitted rather to pierce the heart and convince the conscience than to please the fancy. I determined not to know anything, to study nothing myself, to teach nothing to you but Jesus Christ. Christ shall be the center to which all the lines of my ministry shall be drawn. I have spoken and written of many other subjects in my sermons and epistles, but it is all as consequent upon preaching and making known Jesus Christ. Of all the subjects in the world, this is the sweetest. If there be anything on this side heaven worthy our time and studies, this is it. Thus he magnifies his doctrine, from the excellency of its subject, accounting all other doctrines but airy things, compared with this. Jesus Christ and him crucified. This topic he singled out from all the rest of the excellent truths of Christ, on which to spend the main strength of his ministry. Christ as crucified, and the rather because hereby he would obviate the vulgar prejudice raised against him upon the account of his cross. For Christ crucified was to the Jews a stumbling block, and to the Greeks foolishness. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 23. This also best suited his end, to draw them onto Christ, as Christ above all other subjects, so Christ crucified above all things in Christ. The manner in which he discoursed on this transcendent subject to them is also remarkable. He not only preached Christ crucified, but he preached him assiduously and plainly. He preached Christ frequently, and whenever he preached of Christ crucified, he preached him in a crucified style. This is the sum of the words, to let them know that his spirit was intent upon this subject, as if he neither knew nor cared to speak of any other. All his sermons were so full of Christ that his hearers might have thought he was acquainted with no other doctrine. Hence, no doctrine is more excellent or necessary to be preached and studied than Jesus Christ and him crucified. All other knowledge, how much soever it be magnified in the world, is, and ought to be, esteemed but dross in comparison with the excellency of the knowledge of Jesus Christ. Philippians chapter 3, verse 8.